to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world. In Louisiana, 7 fishermen involved in the cleanup of the BP oil spill were hospitalized on Wednesday after reporting nausea, dizziness, headaches, and chest pains. The crew members were working aboard 3 separate vessels. The fishermen were likely exposed to both leaked oil and chemical dispersants. As a precautionary measure, the Unified Command has ordered all 125 commercial ships helping with the cleanup in Breton Sound, Louisiana, to return to land. For weeks, cleanup crews hired by BP have been reporting health issues, but their complaints have largely been ignored. As recently as Tuesday, BP spokesperson Graham McEwen told the Los Angeles Times he was unaware of any health complaints among cleanup workers. BP has refused to provide respirators to many hired fishermen, and the company has reportedly threatened to fire workers who use their own respirators on the job.
We're joined now in New Orleans by Clint Guidry, president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association. He's a 3rd-generation shrimp fisherman. This is Democracy Now! We welcome you to the studios of Democracy Now!, though we're speaking to you in New Orleans. Tell us what's happening, Clint.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me. This is a situation that has been ongoing for several weeks now. Having had prior training and experience working with oil and the chemicals in oil and their dangers. Several of the fishermen out on the work site, they were complaining of burning eyes and strong smells, and my experience told me that they were getting exposed to dangerous chemicals. The benzenes, all the light ends off the crude. And this Corexit is a new experience for me. I have been doing some research. It contains a substance called 2-butoxyethanol, up to 60% by volume, which is a very, very dangerous chemical. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but just doing the research. And I knew that they were spraying this chemical in the same area where my fishermen were working. And I have brought this to light. I have tried to make public, as a matter of fact, just a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, I met with the Washington delegation in Galliano and expressed my concerns that this was happening.
Now, Clint Guidry, what about this OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration? Aren't they supposed to be monitoring work sites that involve U.S. companies, even if they're offshore?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm understanding it's MMS and U.S. Coast Guard in this situation.
What about respirators? Are people wearing respirators?
No, ma'am. Having had prior experience, I know these people, their friends, their family. I bought respirators and I brought them down to these people, and when they tried to wear them, the BP representative was on site. Told them that it wasn't a dangerous situation and they didn't need to wear them, and if they did, they would be taken off the job.
If they wore respirators, they'd be taken off the job?
Yes.
Why?
Because BP lies, and BP protects BP, and that is the biggest problem we're having in South Louisiana right now, is BP, with its big oil, big money, is buying up all the cover, and when I say cover, I mean camouflage that they can to try to make little of the situation, not only environmentally, but health-wise. This is ridiculous.
But how does wearing respirators threaten BP? How do the workers, the cleanup crews wearing respirators, how does that threaten BP?
If you would do your research, the same situation occurred with Exxon Valdez over 20 years ago. It is a question of liability. The minute BP declares that there is a respiratory danger on the situation is the day that they let the door open for liability suits down the line. If they could have gotten away with covering this up like they did in Alaska Valdez situation, like Exxon, they would not have to pay a penny for any kind of health-related claims.
Mr. Guidry, in terms of the You mentioned your experience in the past. Could you talk a little bit about the prior experience that you've had that would indicate to you that this is a serious problem?
Yes, you know, fishermen down here, we work a lot of all field, all related work in our off seasons. We have had, we've coexisted, and BP actually has given some good oil companies a bad name. And back in the 80s, I started and continued in the 90s. I worked with a company by the name of Brown & Root Industrial Services. We did what we refer to as shutdowns and turnarounds, where we go into units or whole refineries are shut down, and you go in and you perform maintenance, at which time you're exposed to all the dangerous chemicals that come with all refinery work. The benzenes, the ethylenes, the toluenes. My specialty was working acid units. Acid is used in the refining process to purify gasoline. I worked hydrofluoric acid, I worked sulfuric acid, I've worked in Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, California. I did a job, the last job I held with Brown & Root was in St. Croix at the Hess Refinery. I had, under my control, I was responsible for up to 800 people. And we always got the job done safely, and we always got it in on time. But we had proper protective equipment. We didn't, you know, what you want to do when confronted with a situation like this is stop. Stop, and if anything, you overprotect. Nobody has ever been killed by being overprotective.
How prevalent, if you've been out there, how prevalent are the chemical odors out on the Gulf?
The closest I got was in Venice, Louisiana, and you could smell it from Venice. At the time I was down there, they were actually spraying Corexit 9527A on the oil spill on top of the water, and spraying all around. Venice sits on a peninsula, the Mississippi River, right above the head of the passes, and they were actually spraying this Corexit in the air all around where people were living with kids and children, and continuously saying how safe it was, which is incorrect.
Clint Guidry, the fishermen, the cleanup workers who've been brought to the hospital, what do you understand about their condition and who they are? I'm not going to say any names because I'm not sure of the personnel because of the HIPAA, I think, laws in the hospital. They don't release information. It's some people that I know. I've heard a few names. I'm not going to say that, and out of respect for the family and the person. I think all that will come out. When I left last night at the hospital, these workers were, I was being told by the emergency room people that they were okay and they were being stabilized. And it's chemical poisoning. They will detox them, and they may be okay today and tomorrow. But being exposed to dangerous carcinogens, who knows what's going to hold, what's in their future. Are fishermen willing to speak out?
No, maybe now. Believe it or not, we have endured 4 major hurricanes in 3 years. We are up to our eyeballs in SBA loans, small grant loan programs that went on in the state. People, we had a very bad year last year, price-wise. This is a job that these boats were getting paid $3,000 a day. It was a choice. I spoke to several individuals. It was a choice between not paying the bills and having food for their families and maybe taking a chance of getting sick.